I'm going to do another pot, but this one I'm going to play a little bit more with some different elements and possibly use 3 to 4 different types of plants in there, but still focusing on my texture and my colour and the form of the different things that I'm using. The other thing I'm going to do with this pot is this is going to be a pot that probably will do better in a bit of dappled light. So if you're on a pergola or a balcony that was covered, it would still need light, like not deep shade, but it doesn't need as much light as that last one I did. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to play a little bit with my textures to try to get a bit of a feel for what I'm going to do. This is a lovely little plant called a lamia, which grows quite well in the shade. It's got silver foliage. Here's some of my finer texture, which is a little festuca, which is like a grass, which has a bit of a bluey tinge to it. So at the moment, I'm just setting out to see how these are all going to look together. My big drama is my Aeonium, and that brings this lovely purple, kind of an unusual form. So, you know, they're kind of working together. That's 3 elements, just playing with the textures at the moment. And then do I or don't I bring in the blue? And possibly what I might do is reduce this element and just play with that. What I do like, I really like that and that together. This, not too bad, but what I'm thinking, I'll probably work with those 3 elements. Geez, it'd be pretty gutsy if I went for a 4th, but we'll just see. There's a lot going on in that pot. But again, I'm building this pot as if it's ready to go, and I'll probably cram things in a little bit more than you would need to if you're doing this at home, because if you're doing it at home, it can grow into itself a little bit. The other thing is when you put a plant in right in the centre, it's kind of symmetrical. What I'm going to do is just try placing these a little bit off centre, which gives me a little bit more scope for using 3 or 4 different elements, so it's not so symmetrical. So we'll just have a little play. Now the first thing I'm going to do is put my main players in, so I'm just going to put these in. Now these Aeoniums are a true succulent, and you literally can just break them off from a plant you might have. I'm not going to do that now, these have roots on them, but you can literally put them in as just stem cuttings. They're so tough. So as I said, I'm going to put these deliberately off centre. Having a little bit of trouble with them all standing up. And then do I put in another lower one that's just a little bit closer to the pot edge? Let's give it a go. Okay. So there's my first main guy. Then I'm going to go to my Lamium. A little bit of a tap. These are a little bit root bound. Very good, tough plant. You can pull that apart a bit. What I like about this is it's got enough foliage on it that's going to really give the pot edge a bit of a softening effect. So I'll just press that in there like that. Now, I think I'm going to use 2 of these. Again, just tickle those roots up a little bit, make a little bit of space in there, and pull that into shape. So I'm kind of liking the way the purple's working. It's pretty bold. And look, you could just do that and have the 2 elements again, as I talked about before, but it's a little bit more exciting. It creates a little bit more dynamic if you bring in a 3rd element and say maybe even a 4th element. So I'm going to go, well, what the heck? I'm going to just try and bring this blue in here, which I think will look quite good. So let's just have a crack at that. Again, this is Kleinia, and that is a true succulent. Very, very tough plant. And you literally could just stick a whole lot of cuttings in there and allow them to grow into themselves. But because I'm going to have a little bit more instant effect, I'm going to really cram them in. Just bury those in there a little bit. I've kind of created a pot that's asymmetrical. Now, you know, I could have played even with maybe another element of a little bit of flower, but I actually don't like those purples together, so I'm not going to use that. And I just don't think there's enough room in this pot. These are flopping all over the joint on me. There is something nice about that texture, but I think I've got enough going on. So I'm just going to neaten that up a little bit. Just trim off some of the dead bits of my Lamium. Just give him a little bit of a neck. Now with these succulents again, they can collapse a little bit just initially. It would only be a temporary thing. So when you're getting a pot established, I would water it probably twice a week. But once that's established, right through summer, just watering it once a week. And that's just gonna, I think that's gonna look pretty good for probably 2 to 3 years. And then you'd probably deconstruct it and put it together again, either go to a larger pot or pull it all apart and just put it back into the same size pot.